Hi, welcome to Advanced English with Steve UK, and I'm Steve. Now, of course, you all love phrasal verbs, don't you? No? Well, it appears that you at least enjoy doing phrasal verb quizzes, so I've got one for you here. And this one is using the verb to put. I particularly like using this one because there are so many different variations, so it becomes a real challenge. Some time ago I made a video about the phrasal verb to put, not a quiz, just a video, so you might like to have a look at that. You'll find the link in the description. Right, in the quiz you have 30 seconds to give the answer. Okay, short pause, and then I will give you the answers and explain why the answer is correct, the reason for the answer, and a bit more information too. Okay, please remember to subscribe, and if you have any questions, then please ask them in the comments, and I'll be only too pleased to get back to you. Okay, you ready? Right, let's make a start. She was really put that she did not get a wedding invitation. Off, out, over, or at. Don't bother about booking a hotel. I can put you for the night. In, over, up, or away. That rude waiter put me going to that restaurant ever again. Out, for, back, or off. The old man put a lot of effort making the model ship. Over, into, in, or at. The people in the flat above are so noisy. We're finding it hard to put with them. Up, under, over, or to. Instead of helping him, the teacher always puts him in front of his classmates. Down, up, off, or back. Sarah's putting it that Laura and Mark are having an affair. Out, about, over, or into. Well done, Carol. You should put your name for Friday's darts competition? Up, down, in or on? Harry, sorry, but would it be putting you greatly if I asked you to change tomorrow's meeting to another day? Up, out, off or aside? Mary didn't get the job. She puts it to her lack of experience in their field. Over, down, around or into? The challenger put a great fight, but lost on points. Up, across, under or in? The boss is always shouting at her, so she's decided to put for a transfer to another branch. Up, across, away or in? He found it difficult to put what he wanted to say at the meeting. Ahead, down, across or into? The chief executive thanked him for his suggestion, but told him to put it until a more relevant time. Down, aside, over or up? Despite her pleading not guilty, the judge put her for life for murdering her husband. Away, out, in or up? I try to put some money every month towards our summer holiday. Over, by, in or down? He was pulling my leg. He said he'd won the jackpot in the lottery, but he was putting me across, aside, over or on? His parents were angry when they discovered he'd been bullying a younger kid. He said sorry and that his friends had put him to it. Around, up, in, or on. Good morning. Could you put me to the customer service department, please? Over, across, through, or on. Oh dear, her jeans no longer fit. She's put a bit of weight in, inside, across, or on. Okay, how do you think you did? Okay, problems, bit of a challenge. All right, let's have a look at the answers. She was really put out that she did not get a wedding invitation. To put out means upset, disappointed, aggrieved, offended. Maybe the lady had been invited to her own wedding, and so she expected to be invited to hers, but she wasn't. So she's put out about it. Don't bother about booking a hotel. I can put you up for the night. To accommodate, give someone a bed or a room. I can put you up for the night. You might have to sleep on the sofa. But yeah, it's better than booking a hotel. It'll save you money. That rude waiter put me off going to the restaurant ever again. To stop liking somebody or something. You can be put off a film, put off a singer, put off a certain type of food because it upset you. To put off. The old man put a lot of effort into making the model ship. Investing energy and time into something. Dedicating personal resource to something. You put a lot of effort into it. The people in the flat above are so noisy. We're finding it hard to put up with them, to tolerate a situation or person or people, to deal with them. Children, turn down that noise. I'm finding it hard to put up with it. To tolerate, to put up with. Instead of helping him, the teacher always puts him down in front of his classmates. To diminish someone's self-worth or confidence, make them feel inferior. To diminish means to reduce. Perhaps you make a fool of them by putting them down in front of their friends. Sarah's putting it about that Laura and Mark are having an affair. Spreading rumours or gossip. Often negative. He's putting it about that Frank's got the sack for always being late. To get the sack, means to be fired. Well done, Carol. You should put your name down for Friday's darts competition. Means to add your name to a list. Write your name for wanting to do something. Request, volunteer to be part of an activity. You going skiing? Oh yeah, put me down for it. I'd love to come. Harry, sorry, but would it be putting you out greatly if I asked you to change tomorrow's meeting to another day? To inconvenience, cause problems, be troublesome or awkward. Sarah, could you look after the kids for me, please? If it won't put you out too much. If it won't put you to great trouble. Mary didn't get the job. She puts it down to her lack of experience in their field, to attribute or ascribe to, suggest as the reason for something, to put it down to. In this example, experience in their field is not an agricultural field, it means their area of work, their expertise. The challenger put up a great fight, but lost on points. To show skill or determination in a contest, in a competition, or a fight. His lawyers put up a spirited defence, but the jury were not convinced and still found him guilty. The boss is always shouting at her, so she's decided to put in for a transfer to another branch. To make a request. Apply for. Hey, did I tell you? I think I'm going to put in for promotion. He found it difficult to put across what he wanted to say at the meeting. To convey a message, to communicate, to make understood. I found it hard to put across what I meant. He just didn't seem to understand. The chief executive thanked him for his suggestion, but told him to put it aside until a more relevant time, to leave until later, not be concerned with for now. You could also say to put it on one side, to put it aside. Despite her pleading not guilty, the judge put her away for life for murdering her husband. To put someone in prison. Hey, did you hear Frank's been put away for 3 years for beating up his wife? He deserves it if you ask me. I try to put some money by every month towards our summer holiday, to save for the future, to budget carefully. You could also use aside. I try to put some money aside every month. That's another use of aside. He was pulling my leg. He said he'd won the jackpot in the lottery, but he was putting me on. To tease, mock, deceive, lie. He's always teasing me. He's always putting me on. I get fed up of it. or I get fed up with it. His parents were angry when they discovered he'd been bullying a young kid. He said sorry and that his friends had put him up to it. Encouraged to do something. It could be used in a non-negative way. His friends put him up to applying for the job, and to his surprise, he got it. Good morning. Could you put me through to the customer service department, please? To connect someone by phone, to transfer a call. I think that one's pretty easy. You should know that one. Putting you through now. Thank you. Oh dear, her jeans no longer fit. She's put on a bit of weight. Increase weight to get fatter. It could be meant positively, couldn't it? I'm glad to see you put on a bit of weight. I think you were looking rather thin last time I saw you. So how did you do? Do let me know in comments, please. I'd be very interested to find out. And let me know which ones you found particularly difficult. Phrasal verbs aren't easy. I mean, there are so many of them and so many variations, but they are essential. They're really important. Another quiz. This time, phrasal verbs and idioms. Let's go. I was shocked. Seeing that photo of them together, really, me. Losing his job really knocked John for Jack's got flu. He keeps breaking in a sweat. Get with you. He didn't say that, did he? Come on, son. We can fix it. Let's sit down and thrash a solution to the problem. Mary's with me right now. She's not sure. She says to tell you she'll try to come, but she'll have to a rain check first. I can him out about your proposal if you like, but I doubt he'll be interested. That job looks great. Go for it. As they say, nothing ventured, nothing... I put the reason the campaign failed to bad timing. Wild couldn't make me have a filling at the dentist without an injection. I'm glad you like it. I told Tom not to spend a fortune, but I think he paid for it. Have you heard about Sally? She was robbed in daylight in the city centre yesterday. Mark was so arrogant in the meeting yesterday. He needs taking down a or two. He's reading a book about quantum physics. He makes that he understands it, but he hasn't got a clue really. James has been appointed team leader. If you ask me, it's a recipe for... So, how did you do? How do you think you did? Well, let's have a look. Keep a record. And then afterwards you can let me know how many you got right and how many you weren't sure of. Okay, here you are. Here's the answers. I was shocked. Seeing that photo of them together really threw me. Losing his job really knocked John for 6. Jack's got flu. He keeps breaking out in a sweat. Get away with you. He didn't say that, did he? Come on, son. We can fix it. Let's sit down and thrash out a solution to the problem. Mary's with me right now. She's not sure. She says to tell you she'll try to come, but she'll have to take a rain check first. I can sound him out about your proposal if you like, but I doubt he'll be interested. That job looks great. Go for it. As they say, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I put the reason the campaign failed down to bad timing. Wild horses couldn't make me have a filling at the dentist without an injection. I'm glad you like it. I told Tom not to spend a fortune, but I think he paid over the odds for it. Have you heard about Sally? She was robbed in broad daylight in the city centre yesterday. Mark was so arrogant in the meeting yesterday. He needs taking down a peg or two. He's reading about quantum physics. He makes out that he understands it, but he hasn't got a clue really. James has been appointed team leader. If you ask me, it's a recipe for disaster. So how did you do? Let me know. Leave comments and do tell me if you found any particular difficult. Ask any questions that you like. All right. I'm going to play the quiz through again, quicker this time, so you can see if the answers have actually sunk in and if you can get them right. All right, let's go. I was shocked. Seeing that photo of them together, really me. Losing his job really knocked John for. Jack's got flu. He keeps breaking in a sweat. Get with you. He didn't say that, did he? Come on, son. We can fix it. Let's sit down and thrash a solution to the problem. Mary's with me right now. She's not sure. She says to tell you she'll try to come, but she'll have to a rain check first. I can him out about your proposal if you like, but I doubt he'll be interested. That job looks great. Go for it. As they say, nothing ventured, nothing. I put the reason the campaign failed to bad timing. Wild couldn't make me have a filling at the dentist without an injection. I'm glad you like it. I told Tom not to spend a fortune, but I think he paid over for it. Have you heard about Sally? She was robbed in daylight in the city centre yesterday. Mark was so arrogant in the meeting yesterday. He needs taking down a or two. He's reading about quantum physics. He makes that he understands it. But he hasn't a clue really. James has been appointed team leader. If you ask me, it's a recipe for answers. Really threw me. Not John for 6, it's a cricketing term. Breaking out in a sweat. Get away with you. Thrash out a solution. Take a rain check. Nothing to do with rain though. Sound him out. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's a proverb. Put it down to bad timing. Wild horses couldn't make me have a filling. Over the odds. In broad daylight. Taking down a peg or two. He makes out that he understands it.
A recipe for disaster.
Now, are you ready to do a collocation quiz? Collocations are vitally important if you want to be fluent in English. You probably think of collocations as pairs of words, but they're much more than that. They can be full expressions as well, sometimes very similar to idioms. The terminology varies. Some would regard some collocations as idioms, others not. Whatever we call them, they are absolutely essential. They're essential for you to know, especially at C1 level. Knowing them will make your conversation sound so much more natural, more like a native speaker. Okay, so in this quiz, you have 20 of them, and you have 30 seconds for each one to choose the right answer. And then after you've gone through the quiz, I'll give you the answers. So let's go.
All these collocations are to do with talking. Remember, you have 30 seconds to complete each quiz. The answers are at the end. I'm finding it hard to the energy to do anything these days. Raise, summon, turn, or lift. My mother can't get used to well-dressed young people using language. Hard, slang, strong, or tough. I think it's time the subject of getting married with our parents. Sounded, expounded, introduced, broached. He didn't go into detail about his ideas. He just made generalizations. Wide, broad, useful, or round. I was so ill last week, I could barely a conversation. Hold, endure, stand, or involve. No one will your ideas seriously unless you present them more effectively. Take, accept, adopt, or hold. Whenever I try to up the subject of living in the countryside, he leaves the room. Raise, take, bring, or speak. For heaven's sake, that's enough. Just the subject. Stop, throw, lose, or drop. Did you hear the rumour around Tom and Amanda are having an affair? Sailing, whizzing, flying, or darting? At the interview, they me with questions about my previous jobs. Bombarded, harassed, fired, or quizzed. Don't make any promises. Think before you agree to anything. Rushed, flash, rash, or quick. His opening was to ask me about what I knew about the company. Gambit, subject, foray, statement. You shouldn't believe a word she says. She's full of promises. Empty, broken, false, or lost. We didn't discuss anything serious. It was just chatter. Idle, simple, lazy, or empty. So as not to offend him, I tried not to my case for leaving and just put things as simply as I could. Overdo, understate, overstate, underdo. Just to warn you, he's difficult to deal with. Don't let yourself be into an argument, led, thrust, brought, or drawn. She seems to know everyone's business. She's always spreading some gossip. Tasty, juicy, dirty, or delicious. She's very reserved. I've tried many times to her in conversation, but it's very hard. She was sobbing and her heart out to me about what had happened. Revealed, exposed, opened, showed. No, I don't really know him at all. We've only ever pleasantries, given, exchanged, offered, or thrown. So, how do you think you did? Well, we're going to look at the answers. Oh, by the way, all those collocations came from Cambridge Advanced Collocations. I'm finding it hard to summon up the energy to do anything these days. To summon up. My mother can't get used to well-dressed young people using strong language. That's swearing, strong language. I think it's time we broach the subject of getting married with our parents. To broach is to introduce a difficult subject. He didn't go into details about his ideas, he just made broad generalizations. Wide also means broad, but wide generalizations is not a collocation. I was so ill last week, I could barely hold a conversation. We hold a conversation. No one will take your ideas seriously unless you present them more effectively. I think that's quite an easy one to take seriously. Whenever I try to bring up the subject of living in the countryside, he leaves the room. For heaven's sake, that's enough. Just drop the subject. Did you hear the rumour flying around that Tom and Amanda are having an affair? I hope Tom's wife hasn't heard it. At the interview, they bombarded me with questions about my previous jobs. Don't make any rash promises. Think before you agree to anything. His opening gambit was to ask me about what I knew about the company. An opening gambit is to start a conversation. You also find gambit in chess, the Queen's Gambit, an opening move. You shouldn't believe a word she says. She's full of empty promises. We didn't discuss anything serious. It was just idle chatter. Lazy means the same as idle, but the collocation is idle chatter. So as not to offend him, I tried not to overstate my case for leaving and just put things as simply as I could. Just to warn you, he's difficult to deal with. Don't let yourself be drawn into an argument. She seems to know everyone's business. She's always spreading some juicy gossip. Of course, the juicy gossip could also be dirty gossip. But the collocation is juicy gossip. She's very reserved. I've tried many times to engage her in conversation, but it's very hard. For it to be involved, it would include other people in the conversation. She was sobbing and opened her heart to me about what had happened. To open your heart to someone. No, I don't really know him at all. We've only ever exchanged pleasantries.
So, how did he do? Okay? Not so well? If you found them a struggle, then one of the best ways of learning them is to come along to our Chatterbox Zoom workshops. We have 3 workshops, 3 lessons per week. Each usually lasts about 2 hours. You talk to other learners, as well as talk to me, of course. So there's lots of conversation. We cover collocations, idioms, phrasal verbs, expressions, a lot. The workshops are very rewarding. They're great fun. We have a laugh along the way as well. If you come to every workshop, that's 3 times a week, that means you'd be doing 24 hours in a month, because as I say, they last about 2 hours. So come along, see how you get on. They're at C1, C2 level, so if you're upper intermediate, B2, they'll suit you just fine. They'll help you to achieve advanced level. They're not expensive. They cost you £15 per month. Now, considering that you have 6 hours per week, if you attend every session, you get 6 hours per week of involvement, of participation. That's pretty good value. 6 hours a week is working out at 24 hours a month. So really, it's about £1 per session. That's something which I don't think that you could beat. Okay, you'll find details in the description. Go and have a look and come along. I hope to see you there. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And please leave any comments, ask any questions about what we've done in this video. Okay, hope to see you soon. Bye for now.